Hello and welcome to another hype show for Progress Wrestling. I'm Jonas from the Wrestling with Jonas podcast and joined as always by my good friends, ring announcer extraordinaire and possibly the busiest man in the business, Mr. Mad Dog, Mike Mad Dog Angus. How are you doing, my friend? Great to have you back on the hype show again.
Oh, my brother testified. Yeah, very busy, Jonas, but happy to catch up with you, my friend, as always. We had an amazing week in progress. Obviously, we did Manchester at the O2 Ritz, chapter 173 at the weekend. So many of our friends from around the Northwest and further afield all came to see us. It was great to see Lancaster Wrestling Society in the house. Our friends, Mr. and Mrs. White, who got engaged to chapter 149, came to celebrate part of their honeymoon with us. And Simon Miller celebrated his Proteus Championship victory with a bit of a party. We had some party poppers and sparklers and all sorts of fun. And it was an epic show, Jonas, but I'm sure we'll get a chance to chat about that. But as always, wonderful to catch up with you. And great stuff.
Indeed, and for anybody tuning in, thank you so much. Whether you're watching us on any of Progress's socials, but in particular their YouTube channel, hit that like, follow, and subscribe button if you haven't already. But Mike, it's wonderful to be doing one of these with you again, and we will be talking about the Manchester show very, very shortly. Just recapping, because of course it impacts on what we're really here to talk about, and that's going to be Vendetta 2. Back in the spiritual home of Progress, back in Camden, back in the Electric Ballroom, chapter 174. I know that because it's right above my head, Mike. Can you see? It's kind of, there we go.
You're perfectly positioned that, John. I'm quite surprised you didn't leave Vendetta on the screen to remind yourself that is the name of the show, because Gene Money himself called it Vendetta 2 while we were in Manchester the other day. But we cannot wait to be back at the Electric Ballroom. Looking forward to welcoming all our fans from all around the country back to London, back to Camden Town, and Vendetta 2. It's going to be an absolute super show. As always, our November show is always packed. It is always a massive show, and there's so much to look forward to, and so many ramifications from Sunday in Manchester, Jonas, that I can tell you all about. So take it away, my friend.
We look forward to it. I tell you, I love a bit of Vendetta. Me, I know Vendetta in ages. I've got a craving now for Vendetta. I'm not quite keen on the mint choc one. Definitely the traditional, the original one. I know that's going to be a controversial take, but
come up in the comments. You're a wrong un, Jonas.
Don't interact with the show. Drop us your comments. Tell us what matches you're most looking forward to. Tell us what you most enjoyed from Manchester, if you saw it on Demand Plus or if you were there in person, and what matches you're most looking forward to from chapter 174. Vendetta 2 from the Electric Ballroom.
Of course, Jonas, other ice cream varieties are available, as Simon Miller pointed out. So please let us know your favourite ice creams in the comments. Any feedback to Jonas, directed straight to his Twitter page. Just get a picture of your favourite ice lolly and send it over to me. I'll really appreciate that. So
I'm just trying to get a sponsorship. But I'll tell you what we won't want to be eating ice cream this time of year, because it's been damn cold down here in the southwest. I'm sure it is up in the northwest where you are. But let's talk a bit about it. And of course, we are going to be breaking down, having a look at all the matches that have been announced for Vendetta 2. Get it right, Jonas. November the 24th, this coming Sunday from the Electric Ballroom, Progress's spiritual home, of course. But let's have a little look back this past Sunday, and back-to-back shows, one Sunday into another. But chapter 173, Stay Young and Invincible. And I've got to be honest with you, as a big Oasis fan, certainly back in the day, Stay Young and Invincible, I think it's kind of based loosely on one of their songs, and one of my favourite songs from Oasis. But back in Manchester at the O2 Ritz, hosted as always by the current Progress Proteus champion, Simon Miller, of course. There he is himself, I'm sure, getting a round of applause, a raucous ovation from the fans in Manchester with his Proteus championship there. And let's have a look at some of the matches that we had. And we had the Progress Tag Team Championship match, the Smoking Aces. I think the only 3-time Progress Tag Team Champions in Progress history, defending against Subculture. And as we discussed, Mike, in the hype show a couple of months ago, Subculture back in Progress for the first time. And Flash Morgan Webster back in Progress after nearly a 5-year absence. And what a match to make his return with against the Smoking Aces. Tell us a bit about that one before we talk about the next one, of course, Connor Mills versus Miles Kamen. But Smoking Aces defending against Subculture, and what a way to kick things off in Manchester.
Yeah, absolutely amazing tag team Subculture. It's always great to see Mandrews and Flash Morgan Webster on the scene too. Absolutely brilliantly talented individuals. I remember when I first saw Mark Andrews back in the day on TNA British Boot Camp. And of course, Flash Morgan Webster, I'm familiar with him from working with him at TNT, Extreme Wrestling in Liverpool. So great to see those guys have such success in NXT UK and to keep things going with Subculture all around the world in TNA. And of course, now back at Progress. Brilliant tag team, both great high-flying individuals, both got great mat skills, both excellent trainers of wrestling to young up-and-coming talents at New Wave Academy and at other training schools. So absolute masterclass of tag team wrestling. And this was a supersonic match, absolutely brilliant. And the Smoking Aces, though, came away with the victory on this occasion. And they are another, what a tag team. As you said, 3-time tag team champions. And, it is going to be difficult.
No stopping them.
They are at the peak of their game. And great to see that Charlie obviously had a bit of an injury earlier in the year. Great to see that he's recovered from that and is operating on full form again. So they are going to be hard to topple for them championships. And looking forward to seeing what happens next. But straight into Connor Mills versus Miles Kamen. And Connor Mills came up a little short again, unfortunately, in Manchester. But that's not to write anything away from Miles Kamen, the Golden Boy. He absolutely smashed it out the park. And you can see there from that other picture, John, as the O2 Ritz, it was absolutely buzzing, a packed house. And, the balcony was chock full to the rafters. Absolutely amazing environment in there. The crowd were wild and crazy. And Mills throwing the M's up there, but it would be an L rather than a W he was throwing up by the end of this matchup. He certainly did make an impact, and he is a highly skilled individual, Miles Kamen, somebody I've seen wrestle all around the country in the past, from Hull, Leeds, Newcastle, all that area. Seen him wrestling at all sorts of venues. He's wrestled on TNT with us in Liverpool, and now really putting his foot down and making a mark on Progress Wrestling and picking up a big win over Connor Mills, who earlier in the year was looking like he was on the right trajectory to becoming a champion in Progress, and now he's picked up a loss to Miles Kamen there. So definitely not happy. And a little bit later on in the show, we saw him sitting dejected backstage and had a bit of a surprise coming because somebody tried to egg him on a little bit, and it was none other than the Void Walker himself, Nico Angelo, the man with a black heart of gold, who came and spoke to him. And interestingly, there were more developments even further from that, John, which you'll learn about in a moment.
Speaking of developments, Mike, we was expecting the Experience versus Moth Dog, but you might want to take over here because LA Taylor was conspicuous by her absence. I understand there was developments, but Sky Smithson wondering who her partner may be, and it was none other than the familiar face of Sam Bailey. And I'd say a fun match there, and a combo that seemed to gel and have good chemistry, even from the entrance. But talk us through this one, Mike, because I'd say not quite the match we were expecting, but definitely a fun match nonetheless.
Yeah, so LA Taylor obviously has been wrestling in Japan all over the world recently. He has picked up a little bit of a knock and was unable to compete on Sunday, but was still there, thankfully, at the O2 Ritz. Obviously, worth mentioning as well, I don't know if you saw the documentary on ITV last week about LA Taylor, really informative and interesting, and I'd urge any of our fans out there to go and check that out. You can see what a great person LA Taylor is on that one, and learn a little bit more about Progress and one of your favorite wrestlers outside of the ring there. But on this occasion, she was not competing. Sky Smithson called in the coach himself, Sam Bailey, who is obviously very well known in Manchester, coaching a lot of the young talent at the Future Shock Academy. So, somebody who's very well known all around the country and stepped in to join Smithson as the new wave experience on this occasion, I think. And the Future Shock experience, should we call it, in fact. And basically, they ran into big problems because they ran into Moth Dog, and complete with brand new theme music. and their number one nephew in the house. There he is, number one nephew. Will Cruz was with them. I did notice the two grown-ups in the tag team had cans of beer, but they were not letting Cruz anywhere near the cans.
Hold on, Mike. So, who are the grown-ups in that three team there? Who are the grown-ups exactly?
It's definitely
it's debatable, isn't it?
Definitely debatable. But yeah, they've got new theme music and a Tron, which I was happy to see. And there's a video actually on my social media. If you head over to my Instagram, you can see that, and it's you can hear somebody in the audience standing next to me laughing their head off at the number one nephew T-shirt. So that's absolutely brilliant. But yeah, looking forward to seeing them back in action. You can see there that Money has managed to keep Smithson in the corner and keep LA out of the ring, whilst Session Moth picks up the massive win over Sam Bailey. And Moth Dog picked up the win, and I don't think anyone was more surprised than Session Moth Martina herself. There's another photograph I took, which is on the socials, which is hair looking absolutely aghast. And then obviously there was celebrations. The grown-ups in the tag team were having a few bevies afterwards, and they decided during the joy to pick up their nephew and hoist him above their heads, which led to Session Moth needing some resuscitation. And yeah, it was just general chaos from Moth Dog. But that was not the last we'd seen of them that evening either. So yeah, which is something we'll continue to speak about in a moment, Jonas, again.
Well, let's pick that up now, because I think this is what you're alluding to. And Simon Miller back in the ring with his championship over his shoulder there. And so I say rudely interrupted by Moth Dog and the number one nephew, of course. But take it away, Mike. Tell us what happened here, because this has a direct impact to what we're going to be talking about Vendetta 2, or regarding Vendetta 2 and Simon Miller's match that's been announced for this coming Sunday from the Ballroom, Mike.
Well, this is when Gene alluded to it, VENDETTA 2 himself, and spoke about that moment as he stepped out onto the stage in his victorious silk pajamas that he assures me actually are his pajamas that he wears at home.
Why does that not surprise me?
Complete with nipple tape. And so he decided he was going to challenge Simon for his Proteus Championship. Simon had put down the rules that the fans would decide how the Proteus Championship would be defended. And on this occasion, Simon asked the crowd if they wanted to see him defend the belt against Gene Money, and they cheered. He asked if they'd like to see him defend it against Session Moth, and they cheered. And then he asked if they'd like to see him defend it against the number one nephew, Will Cruz, and they also cheered again. So he then said, we'd like to see me defend against all three, and the crowd went wild. And hence we have this match that's going to be happening in London on Sunday, which is going to be Simon Miller versus Session Moth Martina versus Gene Money versus Will Cruz, which I think, has got the potential to be absolutely chaotic. Gene and Session in their tag match, although they won, did seem to be having some miscommunication and some issues tagging together. There was a moment where Gene was going for a double suplex and Session was going for something completely different. And there was a few moments where there was confusion, to say the least, between the two of them. So, I can't wait to see how they get on, in this match. Are they going to be fighting each other? Are they going to team up on Simon? It could be big trouble for Simon's Proteus Championship reign, and it'll be interesting because they've got that monster Will Cruz, the number one nephew, in there, who is one of the best super heavyweight wrestlers in the UK, if not in the world at the moment. So it's going to be a really interesting matchup. And, just can Session and Gene get along to get the job done there? It's going to be, you're going to have to be in London to find out, to be honest.
One word that comes to mind, and that's chaos. But you have to be there. And scrolling along the bottom of the screen is how you can get your tickets for this coming Sunday, the 24th of November. Vendetta 2 from the Spiritual Home of Progress, the Camden Electric Ballroom, of course. Just go to progresswrestling.com/tickets. It will transport you to the Dice FM app, and you'll be able to get your ticket or tickets today. And of course, there are also the tickets for the GCW in London show in January and unboxing at the end of December. But we'll talk all about those two shows a little bit later on. But yes, get your tickets for Vendetta 2 now, or at least watch this through to the end. Don't want to disappoint myself and Mad Dog, of course. Watch this through to the end and then click on the link in the description down below. We also had this past Sunday from Manchester, Cara Noir versus Charlie Evans, and a bit of a dream match, bit of a once-in-a-lifetime match. And Charlie Evans, in one of her pre-match promos, said, Mike, that she wanted to put to rest the term intergender wrestling. I think that's been a staple of Charlie Evans's career, is knocking down boundaries and facing any and all comers that face, the steps through the ropes in front of her. And Cara Noir versus Charlie Evans, definitely a dream match on my bucket list, and I'm sure it was for yourself and the fans at the O2 Ritz in Manchester. But yeah, when it was first announced, I could hardly believe it. And what a match to be seen. And I'm going to bring up some pictures, because Charlie Evans's attire coming down to the ring was absolutely... She was ready for a white wedding, Mike. And the wedding dress coming down to the ring, looking at Cara from the outside. And Cara, one of the most enigmatic wrestlers in the world, former Progress world champion, of course. This was a battle for the ages and a dream match that we thought we'd never see, Mike.
Yeah, absolutely. History in the making in Manchester, and the audience absolutely loved it. A hard-hitting matchup. Obviously, the amazing entrances there from the White Wedding and the Black Swan. But it was just absolutely great matchup. Absolutely thrilling to be there. And of course, the term intergender gets bandied about. It's they wanted to dismiss that. It's two of the best wrestlers on the planet facing off. There was respect shown, there was disrespect shown, there was sportsmanship, and it was just a hard-hitting, great matchup, John, as you would have absolutely loved that one. Definitely worth going back on Triller and Demand Progress Plus to check that one out. And, in the end, Cara Noir came away with the victory, and, still, on the recovery path from that injury, and it seems like the recovery has gone very well. Cara on absolute top form, and they're picking up a big win against, Charlie Evans, great competitor. What a heart, and amazing matchup. And the people in Manchester, just absolutely loved that one, and showed their respect, and the standing ovation at the end of that one. Amazing stuff.
Absolutely. We also had former Progress world champion Kid Lycos teaming up with his Lycos gym stablemate, best friend, tag team partner. Lycos 2 going up against True and Lacey in Manchester, Mike. And True and Lacey, they've had a few appearances in a Progress ring over recent months, really making a name for themselves. But I know that Lycos Gym are on a mission to be truly regarded as the best junior or light heavyweight tag team in all of Europe. Mike, you were there. I'm a big fan of tag team wrestling. We kicked off the show talking about the Smoking Aces and their match. But this one here, Lycos Gym versus True and Lacey, another fantastic match for the fans in attendance in Manchester.
Yeah, I've been absolutely impressed by True and Lacey numerous occasions this year. Two brilliant young wrestlers, and of course, Lycos Gym, one of the best tag teams on the planet, of course. And they've all put it all on the line here. I said before the show, this one could steal the show, and it really did. Amazing matchup, and a big win picked up by Lycos Gym in this one. True and Lacey, unfortunate not to pick up the victory on a couple of occasions during the matchup. And but it was after the matchup that we saw Connor Mills emerge onto the stage, and we wondered what was happening there. And that was when Nico Angelo, the Void Walker, literally walked up an invisible stepladder and booted Lycos in the head, turning his back on Lycos Gym, who he's been friends with around the country and tagged with on occasions. But in Progress, it's he stepped in, and absolutely, there you can go. You can see that was literally from standing. He put a boot straight to Lycos's head there, and then Mills and Nico put a beating on Lycos Gym, and they are going to want revenge when we get down to London next week, and this brand new tag team get to face off against Lycos Gym, and that is going to be it's going to be grim for both teams, I think, that one.
Absolutely. And then we also saw Natalie Sykes make her Progress Wrestling debut on Sunday in Manchester, Mike, going up against Emerson Jane, one of the best performers, one of the best progressors in the world, let's be honest. And you've seen her in death matches We've seen her in Progress recently, having fantastic matches. But Natalie Sykes had her hands full on Sunday, but definitely put in a very credible debut effort against Emerson Jane. And here we see some pictures from their entrances from the O2 Ritz in Manchester. And both individuals looking fantastic before they went to war in Manchester. But Mike, you were there. Like I say, a really credible effort from Natalie Sykes. And I think she set herself up possibly for more matches in the women's division in Progress Wrestling. Emerson Jane on a tear wherever she goes, whoever she wrestles, and another win for Emerson Jane on Sunday.
Yeah, definitely. Really proficient technical performance from both wrestlers, and Natalie Sykes, someone I've worked with for a long time around the UK, and delivered a great performance in Manchester, the O2 Ritz. The crowd, were popping for, and really enjoyed her appearance, entrance music, and everything. And great match. It was brilliant as well to see Sandy Beeches refereeing in Manchester at the O2 Ritz there. And it was Sandy who, at the end of the match, Emerson Jane obviously picking up the big win, and some very innovative offense. Actually, that German suplex off the ropes that she hits is absolutely amazing. A big finish, rolled up Natalie Sykes. And Sandy Beeches had a little surprise earlier on in the evening. We'd seen a video package play from Lorna Austin saying somewhere in the venue there was a golden ticket hidden, and whoever found it would get to face Lorna Austin at Vendetta 2. And it was Sandy Beeches who actually had the golden ticket. And when Emerson Jane picked up the win, she did collect that golden ticket and therefore gets to face Lorna Austin upon her return at Vendetta 2. And obviously we'll speak more about that in a moment, Jonas.
We will indeed. And of course, what main evented the show Stay Young and Invincible from Manchester this past Sunday was the Young Guns making their return to Progress Wrestling. Of course, you've got the world champion there teaming up with long-time Young Guns tag team partner Ethan Allen, making his return to a Progress ring, going up against Boisterous Behavior, 0121 partners and stable mates, Leon Slater, Man Like DeReese. And here's some pictures from the match, the face-off before the match started, of course. A lot of tension there. You could feel it in the O2 Ritz, Mike. And it was a war, it was a battle, as you would expect from these four individuals. But Leon Slater, like I say, surprising to some, picked up the win. He actually pinned the Progress World Champion Luke Jacobs. There they are with their arms raised. But it does set Leon Slater up for a bigger opportunity this coming Sunday, Mike, because he will be vying for the very first time for the Progress Men's World Championship against the world champion, the aforementioned Luke Jacobs, of course. And that is going to be a very, very exciting match. But what's your recollection of this one and how it went down in Manchester?
Yeah, absolute banger, Jonas. Massive reaction to Young Guns being back at the O2 Ritz. The place was ringing with 0161 versus 0121 chants during the whole match. And it was, the crowd was split, who they were supporting. Obviously, Boisterous Behavior with brand new theme music themselves, wrapped out to the arena, and it was really popping off in there. It was going wild. And DeReese and Leon brought that massive entertainment factor that we know those guys bring. And they never fail to have an amazing match at the O2 Ritz. 0121, they stole the show there the other time, and then this one as well. Absolute amazing main event performance. And Luke Jacobs and Ethan Allen didn't miss a beat themselves, the Young Guns, and it was just an absolutely amazing tag team contest, Jonas. You would have absolutely loved it to be there for that one. And Leon Slater ended up picking up the win for his team, and it was, it was deserved, and it was a great matchup. And I don't think that's the end of the Young Guns. I'm sure we'll see them back. That was their first match back together in a while. So, as you can see there, two of the best in Europe. And he's saying we just beat them in their own backyard, the standard bearers of European wrestling.
Absolutely. And this, of course, streamed live on Triller TV and Demand Progress Plus. Go and check it out if you haven't done so already. Details and now scrolling along the bottom of the screen. But if you're not already a member of Demand Progress Plus, sign up today, and you will see all of Progress's chapters from chapter 1 through to 173, the show that we just spoke about from Manchester this past Sunday, and that incredible card there. Yeah, and if you are a subscriber to Triller TV, you will have seen that live, or I'm sure it's available to watch on demand as you see fit. But Mike, a tremendous show. It does set us up nicely for chapter 174 this coming Sunday, back in their spiritual home, back in the Electric Ballroom. But before we talk about Vendetta 2, not Viennetta 2, of course, Mike, but any ice cream companies looking to sponsor this show, please drop a comment down below. As long as it's not mint choc chip ice cream, I'm not a fan. Controversial take, I know. But
I'll have the mint choc. I'll have that for you, Jonas. Don't be bottling out on ice cream on us now. Come on. Let's
talk about some other shows that are available to purchase at progresswrestling.com/tickets, and the details are scrolling on the bottom there. And of course, as announced earlier this week, GCW comes back to London GCW comes to London January the 26th, 2025, in the Electric Ballroom. Some of the talent that have already been announced for GCW live in London. Maki Ito, somebody you've met before, Mike, will be coming to London. Will be gracing us with her presence. The Electric Ballroom will never be the same with Maki Ito coming to town.
Very violent.
The Akeem, former WWE and NXT star, will be making his Electric Ballroom debut for GCW. He's been a GCW regular for the last 6 months or so. January the 26th. Details scrolling along the bottom of the screen. progresswrestling.com/tickets. Masha Slamovich will be gracing us with her presence in the ballroom January the 26th. And of course, the GCW Men's World Champion, Mance Warner, will be coming to London as well, Mike. So world-class talent there. The biggest names that GCW could put on a plane and send over to London. And of course, many more names will be announced. Matches will be announced in the coming weeks and months leading to January the 26th. But exciting times with GCW coming over to London, Mike.
Yeah, really great to see. Obviously, we've done TNT versus GCW up in Liverpool, and obviously in Philadelphia last year. Progress was part of the collective with GCW, so we've worked with a lot of the talent over there. Some amazing, absolutely amazing wrestlers, and it's great to see that they'll be in London. And our fans who are based in London around the UK will get to see GCW in January, which is an opportunity not to be missed. Some of the best independent professional wrestlers who are working in the States, Mance Warner, the former Reggie Reginald as well. Obviously, he was Carmella's sommelier. That's a supremely talented athlete.
I think he was in NXT. Scripps, you may remember as well.
Yeah, and he's got some absolute mad skills. Believe he was possibly Cirque du Soleil trained or something like that. Some absolutely brilliant gymnastics. Maki Ito just, bringing the violence. And of course, the wonderful Masha Slamovich, who is the JCW World Champion. Some of the absolute best there. Looking forward to seeing them and welcoming them to London on January 26th. It's going to be absolutely epic. And what a better Christmas present than wrestling tickets? Get somebody their GCW tickets, get some of their Progress tickets, get them in the Christmas cards or whatever, and an amazing Christmas present. You can't go wrong with that at all, Jonas. Saves you having to go out and go to shops and get all sorts of gifts and stuff.
Speaking of amazing Christmas presents and a gift to buy somebody, especially if they're a Progress Wrestling fan, is get them a couple of tickets to Unboxing 7, The Curtain Call. And still talking of 2024 shows, this will be the next show and the final show of the year for Progress in 2024 after Vendetta 2. December the 29th, it will be a Sunday once again from the Electric Ballroom. And of course, the interesting thing, the intriguing thing about all unboxing shows is you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know who's going to be there. You don't know what matches or what talent you might see, what weird and wonderful stipulations you'll see until you're there. You have to buy a ticket.
Anything can
happen
at unboxing, and you never know who'll be back visiting their families for Christmas and might just want to come and have a little wrestle, or who knows.
There you go. But I've been to the last few unboxings. They're always a riot. The fans are always up for it. And of course, they're all wearing their Christmas jumpers. And I'm sure we saw Simon Miller dressed as a Christmas elf once, but I'm sure Tate Mayfair will want to forget that. Well, of course, but maybe not so much now that he's the Pro CS champion. But get your tickets for Unboxing 7, and you will not be disappointed. And of course, details are scrolling along the bottom of the screen.
I don't think Jerry will be in fancy dress because he was dressed as a normal human at the last show.
Dear me! But let's have a look. I did. I seem to remember something popping up on my socials, but Jerry Bakewell was just a character.
He had a normal human mask on for Halloween. It was great.
Let's talk about Vendetta 2, Mike. That's what we're all here to hype up. And the first match that we were looking forward to talking about, but we're not going to be discussing in too much detail, was, of course, Cara Noir versus Vikingo. Now, of course, unfortunately, Vikingo suffered a bit of a injury a couple of weeks back. We were keeping our fingers and toes crossed that he would be fit and well to travel over to London to face Cara Noir in another world-class dream match, Mike. But it's going to have to be put on the back burner for a future show, and I'm sure we will get to see it at a future Progress show. But there will be a replacement for Vikingo announced on Progress's socials. And by the time you're watching this, it may have already been announced. But Cara Noir will be in action on Sunday at Vendetta 2. We're not going to let the cat out the bag as to who it might be, but we know it's going to be world-class competition for Cara Noir as a replacement for Vikingo this coming Sunday.
Anything can happen, John, as you just never know. We wish all the best to Vikingo, who obviously was hoping to be back on track, ready for that date, but not quite ready for action yet. So, yeah, looking forward to welcoming Vikingo. Obviously, I think we mentioned last time, we met Vikingo over in LA the year before, and absolutely top-level talent, someone I've been keeping a close eye on since way before that. And, looking forward to seeing who steps up on Sunday.
Indeed. But we spoke about this one a little bit earlier on. Simon Miller threw out a challenge. He threw out the challenge to the fans, really, and it was the fans that kind of decided the opponents for this match that we're going to see this coming Sunday, Vendetta 2, and it will be Simon Miller versus G Money versus Session Moth Martina versus the number one nephew, of course, Will Cruz. But that's going to be a riot. But how about this one here? And it kind of all steps off the back of what happened in Manchester, as you rightly explained earlier on, when Connor Mills and Nico Angelo, they came out with the bit between their teeth, Mike, and they attacked Lycos Gym. And we will see Lycos Gym versus Mills and Nico Angelo this coming Sunday from the Electric Ballroom. And that's going to be a grudge match and a bitter feud that needs to be settled at the Electric Ballroom between four of the very best talents, two of the best tag teams that we are likely to see in a Progress ring. And then, of course, we spoke about Emerson Jane and Natalie Sykes' debut this past Sunday in Manchester against Emerson Jane. But as you rightly said, it will be Lana Austin's return to a Progress ring against Emerson Jane. I've got to say, I'm kind of a little bit worried there for Lana Austin going up against Emerson Jane. Fierce competition for Lana. But let's not forget, she is a former Progress Women's World Champion. And, she did manage to retain that championship for a long period of time by hook or by crook with various tricks up her sleeve. Dare I say, the various members of the Lana Austin experience at the time. But times have changed. And I would say that Emerson Jane is the one with everything to prove now, with the possible, sight set on a Women's World Championship reign in the future. Who knows? But the return of Lana Austin should be good fun, always entertaining. And who knows, maybe a bit of Lana Roki while we're there as well, Mike.
Well, Lana Austin is an absolute superstar, and Emerson Jane on her best day is going to, compete with Lana Austin, but it's going to be a tough match, and that'll be just absolutely epic contest. We mentioned as well about Moth Dog, the Moth Dog family taking on Simon Miller. Really intrigued by that one. Anything could happen there. That really could be chaotic, Jonas, and of course that grudge tag team matchup, Nico Angelo and Mills. We'll have to see how they get on as a tag team as they face off against Lycos Gym, who obviously absolutely well-oiled machine. And it'd be another intriguing one. So really excited for Sunday. There's so many great matches. it will be great to see the superstar Lana Austin back in the Electric Ballroom. I'm being intrigued to see what sort of response she gets from the audience, because I think really deep down they'll be happy to see her back in London, after such a time away. And Emerson James could be there to rain on that parade. So, that's going to be a good one. And we've got so much more. It's a packed show. There's all sorts to run through, Jonas, isn't there?
Sanity will be in competition. Of course, you've got Axel there as the current Progress Atlas champion. And of course, it was announced not too long ago that Sanity will be back in the ring to take on Subculture. Now, I think this could be a first-time encounter between these two teams, but nonetheless, it's going to be an epic encounter. And we spoke about where you can get your tickets, progresswrestling.com/tickets. But that, Mike, is worth the price of admission. Two world-class tag teams that have traveled the world and had success around the world. They're going to be going nose-to-nose, face-to-face, toe-to-toe in that ring on Sunday.
Yeah, really interesting contrast to styles as well. Of course, Axel Tisha, one of the best technical wrestlers on the whole planet. Big Damo, one of the best big men about. And the two both high flying and both technically gifted. Subculture, that'll be that's one for me that could steal the show on Sunday. Really excited for that one. And Axel's last couple of times I've seen him in action has really brought the energy, and the place has gone absolutely wild. That brutal street fight they had against Smoking Aces the other month, and I still think there's Sanity have still got a point to prove. They unjustly lost those championships, and I think they've still got some sort of issue with Sunshine Machine as well. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens there. And I'd be slightly worried if I was Subculture that Sanity could just be on an absolute tear. They're going to have to be on top form, and I think those two guys, they've got the speed, they've got the agility, but you wouldn't want to be getting in the ring with an angry Big Damo and an angry Axel Tisha.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, that is going to be really exciting.
And then speaking of exciting, this match here between Nina Samuels and Kanji has been building for a number of months, and they finally got the opportunity to face off, to go to war, and Nina Samuels will be making her return to her Progress ring against Kanji. And we spoke about kind of, grudge matches earlier on, Mike. This definitely, has all of that billing, all of those credentials for being a grudge match. I think this will be less of a wrestling match, more of an all-out fight. And I think the fans around the Electric Ballroom had better watch out, because I think this is going to go far and wide around the ballroom. But nonetheless, I think you've got two of the very best female wrestlers in the UK, dare I say it, in Europe and the world, competing in that match. And that's going to be an absolute banger.
That's it. Well, they both had the opportunity in that triple threat the other month against the Problem Marina Shafir to win the Defy Women's Championship. And between the two of them, ended up not winning it because of their bickering between the two of them. And this has been brewing for quite a while now, and it's time to settle that score. And Kanji and Nina Samuels, I've seen both of them when they're in a rage. That could be just an absolute tornado at Vendetta too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. One to watch. And progresswrestling.com/tickets is where you need to be heading directly after watching this. There will be a link in the description down below. Get your tickets now. And then the main event for the Progress Men's World title, Mike, Luke Jacobs, the reigning defending Progress Men's World Champion, going up against Leon Slater. And Leon Slater's been tearing it up in America, tearing it up in a TNA ring and all over the world. Besides, you've got two of the very best young pro wrestlers in the world here that's going to be facing off for one of the richest prizes in wrestling history, Mike. And Luke Jacobs, I think, is going to have his hands full. And he likes the kind of the rough, hard-hitting type of match. But Leon Slater's going to be hard to kind of pin him down. We know how fast, how agile, how athletic Leon Slater is. He's truly proven himself as one of the very best high flyers, one of the very best performers and athletes in the world, Mike. This is going to be a contrast of styles, but it's going to be a hell of a match, and thoroughly deserving of being the main event, and thoroughly deserving to be headlining as the Progress Men's World Championship match on Sunday. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be an amazing matchup. Luke Jacobs, though, has proven as champion, he's even more dominant than he was previously. And, more ruthless, more aggressive. And Leon has done absolutely amazing. Obviously, but he's somebody who's ready. He's ready to he's been just on a stratospheric rise. And, just absolutely came out of nowhere and has just got better and better and better. And he's become, he's the North champion. He's been the TNT champion. He's been a champion all over the UK. He's headed over to America. He's took that by storm. He's an absolute superstar, this man. And when we've seen him, he's, just still as humble as ever. Nice guy and absolutely just brilliant competitor. But you can see when he steps between those ropes, he is one of the best on the planet, and he is ready to step up to that level. And, he is ready to take the Progress Wrestling Championship. And I wouldn't be surprised if we saw it happen in London at the weekend. But, Luke Jacobs, it's how, how can you beat Luke Jacobs? It's going to be really intriguing. And, I'm so excited for that one, John, as it's going to be absolutely epic. He's the youngest in charge, Leon Slater, but at the moment, it's Luke Jacobs who's the man in charge. So, we'll find out who's the better of the two on Sunday when they face off at Vendetta 2.
Let me ask you, and Luke Jacobs has been a dominant champion. Let's be honest. He's probably been one of the most dominant Progress Men's World Champions in history. But bearing in mind that Leon Slater does have a pinfall victory over Luke Jacobs after what happened from the O2 Ritz in Manchester this past Sunday, is it too much of a stretch to think that Leon Slater could be walking out of the ballroom on Sunday as the new men's world champion? Is it too much of a stretch? Is it too soon for Leon Slater? Or is Luke Jacobs just too dominant of a champion? And has he got too much of a firm grip on that title? We know that he does not want to let it go. Leon Slater's going to have to put in the fight of his life. But can he do it, though? Can he do it, Mike?
Yeah, I believe he can. And I think this will be Luke Jacobs' toughest test so far as the champion. I mean, Darius had an absolutely amazing match against him. Eddie Dennis, amazing matchup. But I just think Leon has just got to this apex of his career, and this is his chance. He's been, given this championship matchup, and he needs to take it. He needs to take this opportunity. This is his moment. And as dominant a champ as Luke has been, I'm just not sure if Leon Slater is even more of a formidable character than Luke. So let's see what happens on Sunday. Make sure you've got your tickets. This is going to be one you will not forget. What a show it's looking to be. Look at all these matches.
Some of the match graphics here.
Superstar Lana Austin back, Emerson Jane in action, and Sanity versus Subculture. What a show it's going to be. Just going to be absolutely amazing. Progress Wrestling with an absolute banger of a card there. And if you're in London or even in just anywhere in the south of England, make sure you get yourself down to this one. It is one you will not want to miss. And if you can't get there, make sure you watch it on Triller and Demand Progress Plus. It's going to be absolutely amazing.
There we go. Of course, we're all looking forward to unboxing as well at the end of the year to cap off the year, to celebrate another fantastic year on the Progress calendar. And that's all before GCW comes to London, January the 26th. You get all your tickets for Vendetta 2, not Viennetta 2, Gene. Vendetta 2, Unboxing 7, The Curtain Call, and GCW comes to London by clicking on the link in the description down below, or just going to progresswrestling.com/tickets. And you'll be transported to the Dice FM app where you can get your ticket or tickets today. But do not miss out, because you've got 3 absolutely fantastic shows there. And of course, GCW coming to London. I mean, come on, why would you not want to see that in the Electric Ballroom of all places, with some of the talent that we've already mentioned? But Mike, it's been a pleasure as always to host one of these hype shows on behalf of Progress Wrestling with yourself, my friend. And I can't wait to see you in the ballroom this coming Sunday.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing everyone, seeing all our fans there. Cannot wait. And of course, there's so much exciting things to come over the next couple of months from Progress Wrestling and, of course, GCW. We cannot wait. And, we're looking forward to Christmas. After this show, you get your little Christmas break, and then we're right back with unboxing. So if for anyone who doesn't get to join us in the Electric Ballroom, have a marvelous Christmas, and we'll see you at unboxing. But before that, anyone who is joining us, we'll see you at Vendetta 2 on Sunday. Cannot wait. See you there, Johners.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you all soon.
This is a terrible day for the Nina Samuels show. I've got Kanji out there bragging at me with her 2-time Progress Women's Champion. Progress is and will always be the Nina Samuels show.
A Progress legend.
Lizzie just threw her so hard she broke the ring.
Kanji looking for a submission.
Triangle choke locked in. Wait, what?
Nina Samuels,
again out here. Nina,
what
for
is
crying
Nina
out
Samuels
loud. Come on.
What the hell?
Nina Samuels determined to make this show the Nina Samuels show.
Welcome everyone watching around the world. This is the Nina Samuels show. So Kanji, how does it feel to finally be featured on the Nina Samuels show?
I actually feel honored. This is the first Nina Samuels show.
Do you not feel like your championship reign was a bit of a sham, given that you never put your title on the line against Nina Samuels?
Before the Nina Samuels show, me and the other women was able to elevate the Progress Women's Division to heights that you couldn't.
I think you will find that I was around. I came back when you were still champion.
This Nina Samuels show is done, it's finished.
Oh, Nina Samuels just jumping Kanji.
Choking her out with that first scarf. What is she thinking? On her own talk show. Come on, Nina. Even for you, this is low.
Kanji fighting back.
Oh my gosh!
Through the table, choke slam through the table.
Look at the heels of Nina Samuels, just like the Wicked Witch under her own house. And Kanji says, that's it. The show's over, folks.
These four women making history, the first ever ladder match for the Women's Progress World title. Literally, it's all hanging in the balance right now.
It's all within their grasp. It just proves how important this championship is. What does Nina have? Are you kidding me?
Nina's got handcuffs. Looking to handcuff Kanji to the ring post. Oh,
there.
Kanji's now handcuffing Nina. Says, hey, you want to screw with me? I'm going to screw with you.
They're both out of the running. I mean, look at this.
And Nina hasn't seen who's behind her. Kanji comes in. Oh, and straight away. In comes Nina Cross, towering over Kanji. Kanji picks up the victory.
If looks could kill, there'd be 3 dead women walking away from the ring right now.
Marina Shafir may be the problem, but she has a couple of problems in front of her.
The second time in this building that Kanji has cost me a championship. I was supposed to walk out here as Defy Women's Champion. I was supposed to become Nina 11 belts and become a world record holder.
Oh, and Kanji's heard enough.
She is sick of Nina Samuels, and Nina Samuels is sick of Kanji. It's breaking down. Hate is a hell of a motivator, and these two hate each other.
I've tried to be nice, I've tried to be civil. There's no room for your out of control ego. Nina, let's end this.